Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Terry Hoese Show, where we cover everything on the court with the South Greene Rebels basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Terry Hoese. Coach,
Tyler,
how's it been?
it's been good.
It's been 2 weeks since we've sat down. Of course, we took Thanksgiving off last week, and we talked about it before we went on air right here. It seemed like it was a very good Thanksgiving week for you last week.
It's been a good week.
You went 3-0. You took home your second straight Hardee's Classic Championship. They gave you an even bigger trophy this time. That's sitting over to your left. The Cowboys won. The Vols won. You had Thanksgiving and got to eat. Man, could it have been a better week for you?
No, the Cowboys get a win right now. You know the stars are aligned, so I guess that's what happened.
Hey, when's the last time they've lost on Thanksgiving? I thought about that. It's been a while.
I don't know, but they've not won very many, I can tell you that. They've made me yell at the TV and act like an idiot on Sunday afternoon. So for that, I hate you Cowboys, even though I love the Cowboys. So.
Hey, it's good to get a win anytime you get a win. You can't argue. You can't not enjoy getting a win, and that's exactly what you've done so far this year also. You opened up the season the last time we sat down. It was kind of the season preview. I think you were tipping off the next day with Cherokee, and then you had Tennessee High following that. So you went through both of those Hall of Champions games. You split those. You beat Cherokee 77-60, and then gave up a fourth quarter lead to Tennessee High to lose that one 66-59. Take me through both of those Hall of Champions games. I know we had talked about those two games are always sort of the toughest to get through because you've not really had any in-game action. Of course, you have scrimmages, but nobody treats scrimmages like they do an actual sanctioned game. And you got your first two out of the way. Talk about those and how you're able to get through both.
Yeah, we got a slow start. Even against Cherokee, I didn't feel like we played extremely well. Had bright spots. Jason and Chandler have had some good games here starting out, and we've had some other people that have stepped in and had good games as well. But to get that first win, it's always tough. It's why going into the locker room and I tell them boys we're 0-0. You get to decide how things go at this point. So to get a win in that first game is always a big thing, and you kind of get that monkey off your back a little bit and see how things are going to go. You roll into Saturday up at Tennessee High. I knew Tennessee High was good. I've watched them scrimmage a couple times, and wouldn't shock me to see them make it back to the state tournament. But
they've got one of the most talented players in the area.
It's crazy, and they all play hard. They're all about the same size, and Coach McMeans has them playing. He does a good job with them. So went up there, really didn't know what to expect. I've went up there years. We went up there last year and won a game by 30 plus. And I went up there some years and just got kicked. So really didn't know what to expect going into Saturday morning, but went up there and I felt like we played really well. Led that entire game all the way up until about the 3 or 4 minute mark of the fourth quarter. Gamble fouled out, and we missed some shots, and they made some shots, and we had to start fouling. I think even with a minute and a half, 2 minutes to go, it was still a 2-point game at that point. But lost that one, but to be honest with you, if I were going to lose one, that was a good one to lose. I felt like we played well enough to win, and that's what I told the kids. I think we shot 15 for 30 from a free throw line that night, and we've got to fix that. That's been kind of a nemesis for us right here to get the season started. But I have a chance to beat Tennessee High and lose by 7 and go 15 for 30 from a free throw line. I felt like we played well enough to win. So even though it's a loss, it was still positive for us.
Let's talk about Thanksgiving week. You got a shiny new plaque in front of you again. It seems like a recurring theme here on this show that every month we get a new plaque, whether it's the Thanksgiving Classic, your Christmas Classic, the district tournament. We get a new plaque sometime on this show every few weeks. But you got the Hardee's Classic for the second year in a row now. You met up with Crockett, getting the championship. Had a close semifinal game against Boone that you had to get past to get Crockett. And, of course, that first round game against Cott County, a team that you had just scrimmaged previously. So take me through your Hardee's Classic this year. I know, of course, everybody knows by now you got 2 shiny new toys that say that you won it for the second year in a row. But how were you able to do it?
We played Cott County, and Cott County's good. We had scrimmaged them the week before, and they have a couple of post players that are really talented, and guard play, they can shoot it. So knew we were going to have to play well to beat Cott County, and I felt like we played pretty well. We still didn't shoot the ball extremely well. I think we were something like 27 or 28% from a free throw line or something like that, just something crazy. So honestly, to get that win, I felt like our kids played hard. I felt like we played well enough to win. I didn't feel like we shot well enough to win. Then you roll in to play against Daniel Boone, And anybody that sat there and watched that game, we didn't deserve to win against Daniel Boone. Somehow found a way to pull that one out 49-48, but we led the game up, had a double-digit lead at one point, and then come out in the third quarter and was flat. We didn't score a bucket in the third quarter. We had 3 points off from a free throw line, and they came out and made some shots and took the lead from us. And I done looked at my assistant coach, and I told him, I was like, dude, we're going to get beat right here. And found a way to win it. So it's always good to, when things aren't going good, to figure out a way to get some things done. But to get to that championship game, I felt like we were very blessed and undeserving, to be honest with you. But going into Crockett's, I think they've been ranked in the top 10 in the state here early, and knew that they were good. They got basically everybody back. I think they lost 2 kids from last year's team. And they do a great job up there. They play hard. He's got kids can shoot it. They've got a big 6'6", 6'7" post player that's good around the bucket. So for us to go in up there and play like we did, we pretty much had a double-digit lead the majority of the night. So you had Chandler Gamble put up 26 points and I think 17 rebounds, something to that effect. And Jace had a big night. And the nice thing about what I saw against Crockett was, and we had talked about it before the game started, that Jace and Chandler are pressing a little bit. They've not gotten any offers yet, not serious offers. And both of them are pushing a little bit and trying to get recognized. And we talked about playing as a team and sharing the basketball. And I know one big moment there toward the end of the game, Chandler had an opportunity to go tear the rim off and dumped it off on the backside to Noah Wright for a layup. So I felt like we played really good as a team. So you look at progression from the night we started at Cherokee to where we are right now. I felt like we've gotten much better over the past 2 weeks.
And 2 weeks is a long time too. People think in the span of a season, which can stretch out to, almost 4 months.
Yeah.
People think that 2 weeks is such a short amount of time in that, but it's really a long amount of time.
It's a lot of games.
It is. It feels like forever since we've sat down and done an interview, and it's only been 2 weeks. So to see the progression that your team has made from that beginning to now has been awesome to see. And then Crockett, I got to mention it too. Seems like every time you play Crockett in that championship game, the buckets just keep falling.
Yeah.
I don't know how many points exactly you scored last year. I think it was over the 80 mark again, but you scored 80 this year to beat them 80-62. And while you're speaking about it, I'll look up the exact number. But man, what is it about that championship game whenever you play Crockett on Crockett's home floor? The stars just seem to align every time.
I said I wish we could play our district tournament, regional tournament game there every year. For some reason, we play well there. And we didn't play our best against Daniel Boone the night before. And Daniel Boone had something to do with that. They've got a good basketball team. I'm not saying that we should have blown them out by any means, but didn't feel like we played extremely well, and definitely didn't shoot it very well. But it seems like that we get up there and play Crockett, the kids get jacked up, and you got that chance to win a tournament again and bring home some hardware. And it's what we pretty much preach. This is your first opportunity to win a tournament, so go win the thing. And they come out and they played hard. And like I said, they played together. And playing together and playing the style of basketball we play, we also got a bunch of easy looks. I mean, I don't know how many layups we hit in that game. We didn't hit a bunch of threes, but we hit a bunch of layups, a bunch of 5 to 6 footers, simply because we passed each other the ball and people cut and did what they needed to do. So Coach Connell did text me after the game, congratulate me. Appreciate that, and he's a good guy. But he made the comment. He said, "If your big kids play the way they play tonight," he said, "you're going to win a bunch of games." And there's a lot of truth in that because my big guys did play well.
And I agree. I looked it up. It didn't quite reach the 80-point mark last year. It was 72, but you beat them by 34 points. Yeah. It was 72-38 last year. You almost doubled them up from the margin that you beat them this year. So it's something about that gym. How comfortable are you every time you walk into that gym knowing that you're playing a game there, how much success you've had there over the years?
It does, and people say what they want to. But when your kids play there and they know they're winning games there, they get comfortable, and it makes it a lot easier to play instead of going someplace where you've not played before. So, like I said, I wish we could play them all there, except for our home games. I'm also smart enough to know that we have to go back to Crockett, and Crockett has to come here. We play home and away, and We went up there and beat them, like you said, badly last year in the Hardee's Classic Championship, and turned around and lost by 4 or 5 in the regular season. So it is a back and forth game, and they'll be ready to play next time we play. But we do play well there, and if you told me I had to play the rest of them there, I'd be okay.
Which gym do you like more, Crockett or Cherokee? Because you seem to play well at both of those also.
We do play well at Cherokee, and they're kind of that same setup a little bit. Crockett does have the balcony up top, and a lot of times that hurts people because of depth perception. But there's enough of a wall there that the goal's pretty much covered up. So from a shooting standpoint, the gyms kind of look the same. So. It's nice. I don't know. I'd say Crockett just because it's closer.
Absolutely. Cherokee's a gym that we'll talk about soon enough also, because before you know it, Christmas will be here, and we'll be talking about that Big H Barbecue Classic. And I'm excited to get some barbecue nachos, too.
Yes, sir.
But we've got some regular season games to get out of the way first. Got some important ones coming up within the next week, so we'll go ahead and preview those in just a minute, but we need to get a word in from our sponsors first. So we'll be right back to talk about those 3 games here in just a minute on Grassroots Media.
Pizza Inn offers contactless buffet to go with JoJo's Family Feast or anything on our menu for carryout. We also honor birthday parties and cater to businesses and large events. We make it easy. Call us today. Pizza Inn Greenville.
For more than 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has served customers in East Tennessee with licensed and professional plumbing services. From installing your new faucet to replacing your existing piping system, our team at Tommy's Plumbing is trained to handle the job with professionalism, attention to detail, and integrity. By offering warranties on most products installed by our technicians, Tommy's Plumbing stands behind our work, ensuring that your plumbing needs are not only met, but that your problem is solved for the long term. When you need reliable and professional plumbing service, Tommy's is the only call to make. So give us a call today and let us show you the Tommy's difference. At Corner Pond, the friendly and knowledgeable staff has the experience necessary to help you out regardless the need. Have an item of value you'd like to pawn or sell? Corner Pond can help. They pawn numerous items of value, including firearms, tools, ammunition, silver, coins, and much more. When you walk through their doors, you'll find well-stocked shelves full of electronics, gaming systems, fishing and hunting equipment, car audio and accessories. And don't forget about the room full of guitars and basses and amplifiers, or their outside lawn and garden equipment. Corner Pond is a case knife dealer and carries numerous used knives as well. Stop by and let the friendly staff at Corner Pond help you today at 432 East Bernard Avenue, Greenville, Tennessee.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Terry Hoese Show, where we cover everything on the court with the South Greene Rebels basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Terry Hoese. So, got a big week coming up. You take a lot of time between games, actually. I know that you finished up with the Hardee's Classic, I believe, on Saturday, and then you take 6 days off until you get back into action against Granger on Friday here at home, and then you have a back-to-back with North Greene at home the next night on Saturday. So a little bit of time between games. Before we talk about the games themselves, do you worry about any, in boxing and wrestling and MMA, you call it ring rust, do you worry about any rust occurring within 6 days between games?
Absolutely. If you don't play, obviously, you can practice, but if you're not in game situations, it's not the same. So hopefully we'll come out Friday night and play well. I will tell you, I'm giving my kids off today. It's hard to practice 4 straight days, so we're taking the day off. We've had 2 good practices. We'll take a day off today and come in and get ready for Granger tomorrow, and then we'll come in Saturday morning and get ready for North Greene for Saturday evening. But you always worry when you take time off. It's just like taking Christmas break off and then coming back and you'll play for a while and kind of try to figure out how things are going to go. So hopefully kids will be ready to play. It is first home game, so hopefully that'll kind of be a little bit of incentive for them to come out and play hard and make sure that we defend.
Yeah, good thing is you get them back to back too on both nights. And another good thing is that you're able to get film on both teams because they played each other.
Yep.
Granger North Greene played in a Hall of Champions game in the opening week of the season. So you get to kind of see what each team used against each other and how each team can stop each other. So that's a good thing. Talk about both teams and how you think you can carry out a successful win on Friday and Saturday nights.
Granger's always played us tough, even on years where Coach Wolfenbarger says they're not very good. It's still competitive. So he'll have them ready to play. And I know come Saturday night, Sam will have his kids ready to play, and it's inter-county, and I know they want to beat us, and our kids want to beat them. So those games are hard to predict, because we are both very competitive, and our kids are competitive. But you said something about seeing each other's games. I remember 20 years ago when I'd have to drive all the way to Clallan to pick up a tape for somebody's game film. So technology has definitely made it much easier for coaches to be able to watch games. And I went up to Greenville High last night and watched Greenville play Morristown East, and while I was sitting there, I had Hampton and Unaka pulled up, and I had Happy Valley pulled up at Clallan. So it's pretty nice not to have to get in the vehicle and drive 2 hours to get a game film anymore. So
I gotta ask, did you watch the TMB show this week?
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, I don't know if that's why you brought up that conversation, because James told a story, I don't know if you caught that part, that technology has, of course, helped teams scout each other. Well, I got to ask you, he told a crazy story of the craziest thing he's done to get film on somebody. What is the craziest thing in your 25 years that you've done to get film? Because 25 years ago, people don't understand that people my age, like, you didn't have a thumb drive that you could just hand to somebody. You couldn't just send it to somebody over Huddle. You had to actually go and physically get it from somebody or film it yourself. So what's the craziest thing you've had to do to get a piece of film on somebody?
This actually didn't happen for boys basketball. This actually happened for girls basketball.
Okay.
There was a couple of years where I helped Coach Dyer and he helped me. And they had made the state tournament. And we went down for the drawing, and we got our opponent, and he got to calling around and found the lady that coached at Upperman, I believe. And we were out in the middle of the country meeting this lady that we had no idea who she was. She had no idea who we were, but we had to piddle around in Murfreesboro for 2 hours, and then while she went and copied a film for us. So we met her. So that's probably about the craziest thing that I've ever done. But man, I have logged some miles on my car and done some shady stuff. You look around, make sure nobody's watching you. You worry about things like that. We go to district tournament meetings and regional tournament meetings, and people be meeting out in the vehicles or going to Lowe's parking lot afterwards, so people wouldn't see them exchanging game film, and a lot of jockeying around. But I'm glad we don't have to do that anymore.
I love hearing insight on that. I'm glad that it's kind of a theme this week of hearing stories of how people used to get game film, because it's interesting knowing that today you can literally just click a few buttons and send it to somebody. Back then you had to call around and make it secretive, almost like it was illegal. So it's cool hearing stories like that. But
now with NFHS, I can just click NFHS and go in there and find games. I mean, most people are putting all that on NFHS now. I don't even have to call people. So
you may be able to watch it live if you don't have a game that night.
Absolutely.
So that's crazy how things have advanced so much. But I knew that was going to happen once. Phone would fall behind the trophy. But you've got Granger and North Greene, of course, Friday and Saturday. And we get conference action next week. Tuesday night, of course, you start with Johnson County, and you travel to Johnson County. It's the fourth year now. We've got to joke about it again. You take that long bus trip up there that everybody dreads. The good news is you get it out of the way early this year. You get it out of the way as your first conference game. And Johnson County is a team that we always joke about, but it's not really a joke that nobody really knows what to expect. They don't play around here a lot during the summers. They play up there in their area. So you don't really know what to expect coming into each season. One thing you do know is Coach Austin Atwood is going to have those boys playing no matter who he loses and brings in. He's a great coach who always is able to figure things out. So what do you expect when you play Johnson County on Tuesday?
That's the hard part. The only thing that I can't expect is they're going to play hard and they're going to be competitive. So, he lost his big kid, left and went to Virginia High, and everybody said they'd be down. And, I watched scores and everything, and they're not really down. So they'll play hard. He had some kids last year that were pretty good, JV kids, and we went up there and played them last year, and he had several kids suspended, and we actually played against those kids, and he had a kid about break the backboard on me. I went up and two-hand monster dunked it as a sophomore, so they'll be able to play, and his kid's there now, shoots it really well. So I fully expect to go up there Tuesday night and have to battle.
All right, I think that's all the basketball talk we've got. You've got three important games coming up, of course. Your first home games with Granger on Friday and North Greene on Saturday being an in-county rivalry matchup. It's so hard to say, an in-county. And then you've got your first conference game on Tuesday night at Johnson County. Let's talk about some college football. It's important now because we're getting down to the first ever 12-team playoff. You've got the automatic bids, which will get punched this weekend on Friday and Saturday. I did this on the Kyle Donahue show yesterday, and I want to ask you, I failed to do it on the TNB show, but we talk enough on there, so it would have just been an even longer show. You've got the conference championship games this weekend.
Yep.
I want to get your predictions on who you think will win each game and who's going to punch their ticket to the college football playoff. You got the most important one, of course, the SEC championship.
Yep.
We live smack dab right in the middle of SEC country.
Yes.
Now, you're a Tennessee Vol fan. You've got Texas. You've got Georgia at 4 o'clock in Atlanta on Saturday. Who do you think takes that game?
I think Texas wins it. Georgia hasn't been playing well. Of course, Georgia's already beat Texas, so it is hard to beat. We talk about hard to beat teams 2 and 3 times, but I can't imagine playing a football game of that caliber and having to try to beat somebody the second time. But with the way Georgia's been playing, I think Texas is a shoe-in.
Crazy part is the predictions for the first and second round of the playoffs have Texas winning, and if Texas wins, they have Georgia, I think, as that 7-10 matchup.
Yep.
And if Georgia wins that game, and if Oregon wins, you could see Texas and Georgia for a third
crazy.
time. That's crazy to think about. But speaking of Oregon, Penn State in the Big Ten championship game, who do you have winning that one?
No question, Oregon.
Yeah, I think so too. I think everybody's got Oregon winning that one. If Penn State would win that game, I think everybody would be utterly shocked.
Penn State's won several. I mean, they're good, obviously, but they've had a lot of close games too.
They have.
So.
And they can just seem to never win the big game.
Yeah.
What is it? James Franklin is the Nick Saban. Or no, Ryan Day is the Nick Saban of James Franklin.
Yeah.
That's saying something about Ryan Day, but it's also saying something about James Franklin. He just can't win the big one. You've got the ACC championship. You've got Clemson and SMU. SMU, first year in the conference, looking to win it. Clemson looking to back in as a 3-loss team and get in. Who do you have winning that one?
Yeah, this is kind of funny. My post player, Caden Fillers, is a Clemson fan, and we watched that game this past weekend on the way up to the Hardee's Classic, and I thought he was going to wreck the bus on the way up there. He about had a mental breakdown on the way up, but I think Clemson wins this one. I think they're solid, so I think Clemson comes away.
I think SMU may be the better team, but man, when you've got your back against the wall like that and you need to win to get in, you've got a sense of urgency there, and I think it's what Dabo's going to have. And Dabo's won a 15-game championship season. He was the first ever team to go 15-0, so he's got the experience. He's a 2-time national champion. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if he backed them in. And then you've got the Big 12, the one that not a lot of people are thinking about. You've got Iowa State and Arizona State. Who do you think takes that one?
Iowa State.
Iowa State taking it.
Iowa State, yeah.
All right. And then you've got, I think it's the Mountain West Conference. This is the big one. You've got UNLV and Boise State. After the recent rankings last night, it seems like whoever wins that game is going to be the Group of 5 champion that squeaks their way in.
Yep.
Who do you have winning that one?
Listen, this is a total blind guess. I'm going with Boise State just because that ugly, hideous blue field.
It's iconic, though. When I was younger, I loved it because it was different. Once you grow older, you're like, yeah, man, it just don't look good.
No, it doesn't.
It just don't look good. It's iconic. I don't know if they'll ever change it, but for those that aren't Boise State fans, we really don't like it.
No.
It was cool for 1-2 years, but after that, it's like, yeah, man,
It's hard to watch a game on TV.
It really
I
is.
don't know what it is about it, but
it's too much. But with that being said, since you've got Clemson getting in, that's another topic of discussion. If Clemson wins, does that knock SMU out?
I think so.
I think it does too.
Yeah.
Do you think they squeeze Bama in?
I think Bama's getting in some way somehow.
I think no doubt in
I
my
think
mind.
it's a done deal that love them or hate them. I think people want Alabama in the
I think so too.
championship.
And it was that way last year too. They squeaked Alabama in at 4 over Florida State to get them in because Alabama's the darlings of the NCAA and the
Absolutely.
SEC. It looked like it was starting to turn into Georgia, but I think last year kind of proved that it's still Alabama. But, Coach, it's all we've got this week. Hopefully talk about 3 more wins next time we sat down. Got a shiny new plaque in front of us and a big shiny trophy. People don't understand how big that thing is, too, but it's almost the same height as us sitting down right there.
It's a pretty nice little piece of hardware there. I'm appreciative of that. That was unexpected. We've never gotten anything like that at the Hardee's, but those guys came through, so that's all right.
It's crazy you can win the Hardee's Classic and get a bigger trophy than you would if you win the state championship. That is crazy. But shout out to everybody there at Hardee's Classic. They do a great job each and every year. 2-time back-to-back champions of it now. Now looking to go 3 in a row at the Big H Barbecue Classic up there at Cherokee. But, Coach, until next time, appreciate you once again.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Gary's Paint Body Shop Terry Hoese Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.